Hey, what's going on? You are listening to Talk About Gay Sex. I'm your host, Steve Rodriguez, with my two co-hosts, Jeremy Ross Lopez on my right, and Steve Carpenter on my left. How you doing? And happy 2019, y'all.
2019. Thank God 2018's gone.
Finally.
Oh, that was in my ear. Wow. We are loud and proud. And I don't know, you guys like ready to just say goodbye to 2018?
Bye-bye.
Yes, we're ready. I'm ready for a fresh start.
Yes, it's a huge year. I'm excited for our New Year's special. We're recording this, but we're also filming it too. So check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkaboutgaysex. A little later in the show, I'm going to have DJ Laurent on the show. If you listen to our Dark and Dirty after show, it's the theme opening track that he plays. He has a new music video to go along with the track. He's going to tell us about that. Cool. Also on our Dark and Dirty show, so stay tuned for that.
Very cool.
But happy 2019.
Yeah, happy 2019.
We made it.
Thank God.
We did.
I trust. It's a big year though. I think we have a lot to leave behind with censorship. We could go on and on with the things to leave behind. I mean, catastrophes. Let's just hope, at least in our gay bubble, we've got a big year ahead of ourselves, starting with our 2-year anniversary, y'all.
Has it been 2 years? My God.
Cheers to us.
Exactly.
Cheers to us.
We still have a while before we get to the 7-year itch, so we're still hanging in there.
Maybe.
And it should still be hot and fresh, right?
It's always fresh.
Yes, and cleaned out and douched and all that good stuff.
Well, I wasn't going to go there. But
Well, I did. Coming up in February, we're going to do a live broadcast. More to come to celebrate our 2-year mark. We thank you for being with us.
Yes.
We thank our Patreon members. More in store for that, becoming members. But in 2019, it's also going to be a big year for all of us gays. It's the 50th anniversary of Stonewall.
Yeah.
Which is huge,
That's awesome.
Especially for our city.
This city is going to be absolutely insane because people are going to come from literally all over the world.
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean, it is going to be Queer City.
And so does this fall right before Pride falls? Like, is it in the same month?
It coincides.
Okay.
It coincides. So
Okay. I know that Stonewall's a big deal in the Pride Parade anyways,
Pride
but
Parade is,
both
and
will
it's gonna
probably be like a gigantic, insane celebration. I mean,
It will be.
I'm sure people from everywhere in the entire world will come for both.
Absolutely.
And as you said, it's also World Pride here in New York City. And World Pride's just really gained so much. People have told me that it's been around for years, but I don't know that I knew about it so much. But in the last couple of years, you've been hearing more and more about it. And this year, New York's very happy to host it. So it's huge for that. 50th anniversary.
So if you're going and you don't have a hotel reservation, you better do it now.
That's for sure.
Kinda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder if they're already like getting booked for that.
I'm sure people booked it the minute they heard about it.
Yeah.
I mean, New York hotels go very quickly in the first place. So
yes. People are going to be looking for those Airbnbs.
Mr. B&B, which we should talk to them about advertising.
We will. Oh yeah, Mr.
I've never heard of that.
Mr. B&B. It's basically gay owned and run guest houses.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Airbnb.
In any city or just certain locations. That's
Pretty
cool.
Much.
Exactly. So I kind of wanted to start with a segment on this 2019 show. Let's take care of business, though. What or who are we leaving behind in 2018? I mean, who are we dumping, you people?
Well, you for one.
Too late. You can't do that.
We're stuck with this one, unfortunately.
Your contracts, I still got you.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We have a contract, don't we?
Yeah.
Not
in
the air.
In blood.
Yes.
I mean, I would say going forward, I don't have anyone specific that I can think of at the top of my head, but I think that the friends that I have that have not really put any effort in towards reciprocating friendship, I think I'm over that. So I think that if I have just a few people that I could think of that have been like kind of fallen off the map a little bit, then those are people that I just don't feel like made the cut, really, if
Clean
you know what I
house.
mean. Yeah.
Well,
So
it also depends on why they've fallen off the map.
yeah.
You know, if they're having personal tragedies or
That's
something,
true.
that's another story.
No,
but
it's not that. It's
but-
just kind of lack of, I guess, communication, or like when you reach
Well-
out to somebody and then they're just like, get back to you a week later or 2 weeks later and stuff like that. And
Well,
it's just
in general, that's just a great rule. I mean,
Yeah.
who needs flakiness and who
Yeah.
needs? We're all so busy that who wants to put the effort in and not have it reciprocated?
yeah.
right.
So in general, I think it's not anyone specific, but it's just any
Mine's
few people
very
that
specific.
are like,
Mine's a guy that I think I've talked to you all, but maybe I think
yeah.
I've talked about it on the show. It's a guy that at first I met him out and about, and very handsome guy, tall, and
Yeah, I met him.
You,
He's
you both
hot.
had met him, sexy. We ended up.
And you had hot gay sex on your countertop.
We did, yeah, which is like, we actually did. I mean, and it really, I think I did say mind-blowing sex at one point. Now that
Yes, you did.
it's refreshing my mind, and the mind that was.
but on the other hand, you played
Well-
a lot of games with this one too.
There's a lot
so-
of baggage that came after that. Though,
Well,
so.
he was one of those that wanted to continuously see me, and I thought he was a cool guy, kind of happy-go-lucky, good personality. And I at one point said, because we had gotten together several times, and it was one of those things where he would spend the night, and I would be in his arms. It was a little bit more than just like, okay, thank you, let
Yeah.
me get out of the.
Right.
And so I kind of liked that. And after a few times, then I said, well, would you want to like hang out sometime? Okay, dare I say the word date? I mean,
Yeah.
And he was game for that. Yet all I could get from him was 1:45 a.m. texts.
Yeah.
Like
Booty call.
Booty calls.
And that's
Yep.
totally like when they're not serious about it.
Which is
then.
fine. And
Yeah.
I went with it for a while, but then
Yeah.
inevitably, you know, I may have responded at 1:45, and then I would get like, oh, he'd be like, what's up, sexy? And then I'd be like, nothing. And he would end up saying, oh, I'm at this like after hours, you know, party thing in the city. And I'm thinking, and it was
And-
stringing me along kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's your point?
Inconvenience, like
Yeah.
when they think that you're at their disposal, or like you can just drop everything and be like, oh yeah, it's 2 a.m. Why don't we meet
You're doing
up?
nothing else but
And it
waiting
doesn't
for
work
them.
like that.
No, he also, I think you were here one time. We had people over. It was late. We had
Yeah.
some friends over having drinks here. He retired himself to my bedroom with his friend here that he had brought.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I was here.
and just like chilling, and yeah,
retired, went to my bedroom, took his clothes off, and got into my bed as if like I'm going to join him at some point.
and just leave everybody else. So
But,
I mean,
that's a little
yeah,
presumptuous.
It's too
and
comfortable too.
very comfortable
At someone else's home.
Right.
So
Right, and so
when you're entertaining.
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we just don't do that. And
No, you have to be hostess.
So, he's been blowing up my phone. I've been traveling a lot, and I've just, finally was getting over it. And
Yeah.
more recently was out with a friend at a bar here in the city and saw him. And so he walked by me, and I waved just politely just to say hi, right? I haven't been returning his text, but I don't hate the guy. It's just, for me, I've moved on. And the next day, he says, hey, it was really great seeing you last night. Well, I didn't respond to that. And then the next text was, what's up with you? I've sent you all these texts, and I said, I'm just not interested anymore, is what I said. I was pretty blatant. I
good.
said, I just want to move on. And he responds with, yeah, I feel the same way.
Oh, of
And-
course, but that's like what an asshole
I
responds
feel
with.
the same way.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you really feel
Well, they
this-
do that on
okay.
purpose because at first
Because
they're like,
heaven
they're-
forbid he,
yeah, God forbid that someone do that to him first. So I think it's one of those things where like you got it out before he did, and it's like, bitch, you weren't on the same page. You wanted it, but
he followed up with, I just thought we had more mutual respect for each other than to, not respond like that. And I knew
And you
that-
didn't respond to that.
I didn't respond to that because that's my other thing is not
Yeah.
letting people get me riled up
Yeah.
too much. And so we let it go, right? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Like 3 days later, I get a midnight text, and it's like, I want to fuck that pussy, pound it out, so you scream, something like that.
Yeah.
again, ignored it and haven't heard from him yet. So anyway, he goes into the dump pile, the trash bin of 2018.
That is in by Felicia file.
Yes.
For real.
By Felicia, absolutely.
Exactly. And like I just said, one of the other things I have on my list of leaving behind is letting people get me riled up when I'm out and about in the bars. And I know it is a side product of, for those of you guys that don't go out and you pick up people on the apps, there's benefits to going out, I think, but then there's but then you got to communicate, and sometimes people don't always communicate greatly.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
they don't.
Or you meet them on a different level. Like
they
may be
right.
like they've been out all night and you just got out, or so sometimes that's the disconnect. Is like,
well, or they don't. Or they don't have that extra 30 seconds or so to think about what they're going to text you.
Totally.
So they've got to be spontaneous, and that sometimes doesn't work.
Or like we talked about, when you have that situation where you're out and you meet two people in one night, and then it's the struggle or the fight in between, like
who you want?
Yeah, not who you want, but like necessarily, when they fight over you, and it's like you like both of them, but it's not. It's not one of those things where you're like, I'm going to take both of them home. Let's all go home together. One happy family. It's not
Why not?
that. Because it's never that. It's always the drama of one or the other, and
it can
them
be drama.
fighting over it. And like, I mean, I've had that before, and we've talked about that. Like,
yes,
in the same night when you pass the other one.
Sometimes you just gotta pick.
Yeah.
We have the three of us have a bartender mutual friend that was sharing with me that he met somebody and he was into it. And one of the things as a bartender that he sees it all from his standpoint is whenever he meets a guy that's coming on to him that he's interested, he's always looking around the bar after that first exchange to see if that guy is then going to be like on his knees in another part of the bar.
Exact thing, yeah.
And so he was happy that this new particular person, and hopefully it'll work out, but this new guy was all about our friend, and he didn't see any shadiness, and that's a good feeling.
But then again,
I think if you do like somebody, you should pursue that person.
Oh, I agree.
To keep them off the radar and interested.
But keep
in
mind, our bartender friend also prefers that they kind of hang around and stare at him all night
and dote over them.
Dote over him.
Listen,
and then because he's not going home with him because he's working and he's tired when he gets off at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Listen, I've had my bartender. I used to have this huge thing for bartenders for whatever reason. I still probably do in some way. But when I've ever liked a bartender, I was like there in front and center for them, not distracting them and making them lose their train of thought.
That does get boring, though. I mean, even if you're infatuated with them.
No, I didn't do it in a way where I was oogling and awing, like staring them. I didn't make them feel uncomfortable.
That portable dental tool, that.
But what?
To suck up the drool because you're watching.
Oh my God!
Hello, you didn't get that?
I didn't because I was talking, and I think that there is a way to do it where I won't find myself on my knees sucking off somebody else, so that then he finds out. It's just.
But you're saying casually.
Yeah, if you're going to suck somebody else off, at least do it discreetly.
Exactly. Well, okay, there you go.
Yes.
Who are we fooling?
Exactly.
Okay, Carpenter. Anything? Let's get it out. What are we?
So, two major things. So, I'm drama is decreasing. I'm not putting up with drama. Period. It's just
thank God you're giving it. I was going to tell you, we get it, girl.
No, I mean,
bring it down a notch.
Other people's drama, which is I get sucked into other people's dramas so much. It's just like enough.
Yeah,
enough.
What you don't know, audience, is that prior to going not live but recording the show, he was on the phone with a friend listening to this person's drama. When is this going to enact?
Well, I mean, okay, this is so there are some things that I've known him for 30 years, so it's
okay.
There are some things that
you
just have to do.
Entertain it then.
You have to entertain it to a degree, but most of it I'm going to.
But you're not going to get involved, is your point.
Right. The other thing I'm going to shed is a lot more weight.
Okay.
So I'm down. I'm down a good 20-some pounds.
That's amazing.
Excellent.
And I'm going to shed more. And I have some guys who are not happy about that because they.
You're talking about guys that are interested in you.
They're more interested that I'm a big guy, and I say I'm I'm down 20 pounds, and then the frown comes up.
That's a big thing.
That's actually happened to me with guys too. That when you love them, like the way that you met them, or like the way that you saw them when you first met them, and then I don't know, then they get like super fit, and then I'm like, so I'm really not interested. And they still look excellent, and I'm happy for them that they're on their fitness journey.
Yeah.
But that's happened with some guys before. Yeah, but then they're like, they lean out and they get like ripped, and then I'm like, I'm not as interested as I was when I first met them.
And professionally, it's a lot of actor stories that made their comedians or what have you. And they got cast for being a certain size, and then when they lose it, they actually don't get the jobs anymore.
Yeah.
But then they were doing it for health reasons. But to your point, did you guys hear of the story of the guy that was sort of twinkish, and he blew up, and he
decided to become a bear,
or let himself kind of go and realize that
I didn't. Who was it specifically? Was it someone in porn or just
It went viral because he posted a picture of himself, how he used to look, kind of twinkish with a leaner body, kind of abs and all, and then posted him today. And today he's quite large, like a bear, and said, I'm much more happier today than I was then.
Well, that's awesome.
It did sort of cause some controversy of, I don't know, how did you guys feel about that?
You have to do what's right for you to be happy. If that's what makes you happy, if you want to be bigger, fine, do it.
I had a friend, though, that said he's just, because he's young, that he's just lazy, and like he feels that today it's just more acceptable to like let it go and hey, whatever, I'm just gonna.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's everyone's like an individual basis. I think it's about like where you get to a point for yourself that you feel the best. So that could be large and in charge. That could be teeny and tiny. That could be muscular and jacked. It could. I mean, I think everybody has their own level of.
This guy got so imagine a twink, really thin body. He got huge, like big. I think he looked good in the picture.
I think he looks great as a bear, and I thought he looked great as a twink too. I mean,
I say kudos to you. Whatever makes you happy.
Exactly.
I think if you did it, like if you did it because you're not trying to be what you think perfection is, great. And maybe now, you're getting people attracted to you in other ways. But is your health still good? I mean, and I know health doesn't equal being thin, as some people might think.
No.
But are you still looking into your health? I mean, you just told us, Carpenter, that you're losing weight partly because of health reasons.
Well,
So I would argue, like, if you're keeping it, if you're still healthy and taking care of yourself, then good. Yes, of course, do whatever you want.
Right. Exactly. I mean, yes, keep your health in check, but don't do something because you think that's what other people want.
It's the fad, or like you want to be something.
Do something. If you want to go and pump iron, like a mad woman, 3 times a day.
A mad woman.
Then go do it. Just you're not going to fit in that taffeta dress later. But
Jeremy and I are like gagging.
I fucking hate taffeta. But anyways,
I know. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
Like, just don't
take that one out of the
please.
Don't closet.
Edit that out. Sorry.
Don't. Okay, so you're not gonna fit into that.
Oh, chiffon.
Chiffon. No, chiffon wrinkles so easily. But no, don't do something just because you think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Do it because you're comfortable.
And that's what I'm saying. Do what makes you happy.
I know a lot of guys who have gone to the gym and made themselves, these massive, gorgeous men only because they're hiding who they really are.
Yeah.
They're hiding behind that. And that's no. Don't hide behind who you are. Don't hide behind your body.
But it's an individual basis. Like I said, certain people are made happy by
go for it.
Certain standards that they set for themselves.
I think that's a diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
But I think, sure, should everybody be able to do what they want? Of course. Do we all find ourselves judgmental at times? Yes. Is the world cruel at times? Of course. But if you want to he obviously posted the picture of before and after to make a point.
Yeah.
And he was trying to suggest something. And the other thing is that I would just go back to, do what you want. I mean, no one says if you were struggling and feeling like you were being, it was too hard to be thin and keep that up because of what you thought society wanted, then that's not good.
Yeah.
But
there's also a level of confidence.
To go the other extreme,
Right.
if maybe and he's young, so when you I used to be a personal trainer, so when you're that young and then you let yourself go to the extremities that he did, you develop fat cells earlier that are going to be a lot harder to get away, and those fat cells can then also lead to unhealthy.
Okay, but now you're talking as a trainer.
Right, but I'm looking at it from all ways.
But don't say let yourself go, because it's not. He
sort of suggested that though in the.
Okay, but he's doing what he wants.
Yeah.
He's making himself look the way he wants to be.
Right, but I think he used the word "let it go."
I just think there's a level of confidence that clearly goes into his own comparison of like what he was at one time and not now.
Right.
I mean, that's confident in itself to post like a picture and show your comparison of the two different versions of you.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is who I was. This is who I am. And I'm happy with that.
Let's move on. I'm done with this.
Next.
Enough about 2018. Here in 2019, and Happy New Year, y'all. What are we manifesting for this fucking new year? And I'll start with myself. I may have mentioned a person that I've been hanging out with in San Francisco, and he was, when I was a go-go dancer in the 90s, he was a bartender then, and now he's real estate, and we reconnected after 20 plus years, and we've been,
the sex was just as good as it was 20 years ago.
Better.
Well, even the bond. I mean, not only the sex.
Actually, you know what?
That's true chemistry.
We're both sort of in awe with it all.
Which I think is a really,
awesome.
a very rare thing, or at least it just sounds like it is, to have like such a
when you have
huge
chemistry,
gap of years that you haven't seen the same person and then revisit that. It's really amazing that it's like still a cool.
And then to kind of take it to the next level, because then I used to be a little bit more prudish and so forth, believe it or not.
She's not now.
I know, right? And he's kind of happy with all that. I think we were talking about, Jeremy and I talked about it on our Dark and Dirty after show a couple weeks ago. And, we talked about what I did on that.
Maybe on the eve of that night.
Fist was involved.
I haven't heard the details of that.
Yeah, well, listen to Dark and Dirty, and you can too if you listen to our. Join us and become a member on our Patreon page. And thank you, recent Patreon members,
subscribers. Yeah,
you guys keep coming in, and it's really nice. And you get
it really helps us do this. It helps us do this show.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's really cool.
And you can sign up for what? $5? Is
$5. Yeah,
$5.
And
you get the Dark and Dirty.
Yes, and I recently posted some pictures that are for your eyes only type of shots. I may or may have not been behind a motorcycle on the Lower East Side naked.
Oh.
You might see my ball sack in another Christmas one, and more to come.
Those Christmas
Jingle
balls.
But what I would like to manifest, I think, is if with him it would be great to kind of have a relationship with this guy, but a mature, very sexual relationship. I'm not saying I need to be
of course, very sexual.
Yes, of
it's
course.
It's you.
Well, yes, but mature.
And sex is like it's healthy for any relationship, I think, too.
Absolutely, too. Yeah, and who knows? Maybe film some of the hot sex that we have, but we're still exploring it too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, do you guys have any sexually manifestations you want to occur this year?
I want more big asses in my face than I had in 2018.
And no more public sex?
No, I still want public sex. That didn't really occur as much in 2018 as I would have liked. Little hints here and there. So you have
some goals.
But that is definitely a goal, more of a goal in 2019.
Yeah.
Bigger asses.
Yes.
I mean, how big do they need to be?
Like
so audience, you can hear.
Obnoxiously big, like that. They're very noticeable.
Like a Kardashian ass.
Maybe a little smaller than that, but still noticeable.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think in 2018 that I had enough. And I mean, unless I find one that I
never
can
enough,
get,
right?
It's
no,
never
but
enough,
I'm saying
no.
unless I find one that I can get hooked on, and then that could be like a thing. That would be cool.
Oh, that can be awesome.
So
Yeah.
if you had a relationship,
But that I haven't found, so that I'm like still,
Hear that, boys?
yeah,
Hear that?
I'm still open to that, and I would love that if I had like a.
is that like a requirement for, say, a relationship that you would have? Do you think? I mean, we all think we have.
It is. I used to think I have definitely not made it a requirement based off of meeting somebody that I really liked and had a good connection with.
Right.
But because, like I said to you, with your guy, the sex is an important aspect of dating someone and being with someone. I think when I did make that not a thing and not worry about it, it ends up ultimately matters because sexually I wasn't turned on
then
as
the
much
sex
by the
fizzles
person.
fairly quickly.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So like good
Wait,
banter
what did
back.
you just say?
I said the sex fizzles fairly quickly.
It can if you don't. I mean, it can. If
Well,
you
it's
think
all.
you work
It's also
on
like
it.
a lot of it
Well,
is
no, I
mental.
agree,
So
but
I think.
yeah, exactly.
I think also because I've watched so much porn in the past and stuff. I think.
Not anymore. But
And a
Tumblr
lot of
going
us
away.
with Tumblr and Twitter porn and stuff. I think when you are with people and you compare it to that, if you're dating somebody that you're really into, but they don't compare to that sexually, I think that is a problem. At least it is for me. I mean, so if I'm not into this person and our sexual connection isn't as strong as our bond is, then
Yeah.
it ultimately is not going to work.
Then you're just more friends.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
But I have put it aside for people before and made it work without that. But ultimately, it didn't end up working because the sexual aspect was slacking in that department of like.
But I would throw in just a wrench to all of that. That yes, I think in general that happens with sex. One of the things like I feel like I'm more ready is that I'm in my late 40s. I have a different mindset now that I didn't have before. It's not always. I think there's nothing wrong with thinking other people are hot and so forth. But I think that there's this wave of we here on the show we get so many like people reaching out to us. They're writing books about. They're starting apps and programs that are helping. We have Master Joshua on, giving us the tools to keep sex hot, interesting, with
and spicing it up,
with or without, whether it's your individual self, your own sexual exploration, or it's with a partner, and keeping it interesting. And I think the narrative has always been, and especially us gay men, that at some point we might meet someone, but then it's gonna like we're gonna be having an extracurricular thing outside, or we're not going to have sex anymore. And then everyone sort of, that's the written rule that we're all just sort of accepting. But I think there's all these, and a lot of the people that are developing these new concepts are women, but it's not it's for, everybody. And I'm loving this wave of like, let's keep it going. And when you factor in things like, censorship, like Tumblr, and we're losing, people are taking down our Instagram shots. I think we need to, it's a call out to bring it back to your own sexuality and your own development.
And being able to express yourself the way that you feel fit.
And don't just accept that, I guess at some point, I'll meet somebody, but then we'll be bored with each other and we'll just live with each other and I'll have my, I think change the story,
Right.
Or spice it up.
And you know what? If you've got a boyfriend and he comes home with some brand new toy, then you damn well better try it out.
Because you
got to be open to it.
Yeah.
You got to be open to what your partner's interested in as well. Because they're probably the spice level up as well.
Because chances are they're your best friends, so you could tell them the most intimate details, and you did it. There was some spark there that you liked them for. And to your point, if you brought home that toy that's different, or you found out, my boyfriend has that thing that he likes, and you like panties on a boy. Sometimes Jeremy,
look at that
on
smile.
a guy, not a boy, but yeah.
Well, we use those interchangeably sometimes, but yes. Carpenter, some things you want to manifest, at least sexually, in 2019 here?
More sex.
More.
Of course, more sex.
Any particular kind or with a certain type of person?
I don't know. I've gotten a lot more vanilla in the past couple of years.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Yourself or just your your
Partners?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Or both.
I mean, I haven't really done any fisting in a couple of years.
Okay.
Either top or bottom.
Would you
Yeah.
like to? You're bored with that, or you're not interested?
It's just different. Well, I really do like fucking. I do like fucking.
Mm-hmm.
And
Getting or receive or both?
both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Both. I tend to be more bottom, but
Okay.
Right.
But I like getting fucked, and if you're being fisted on a regular basis
It's not
with
as
one
easy.
or two hands,
Yeah.
then it's kind of like
Yeah.
when it's really like this,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't
this
know.
huge dick, and it feels like
Yeah. A
a
pinky.
toothpick,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
But once in a while, our good friend Dr. Goldstein thinks that it's
Yeah,
totally
but
fine once in a while,
yeah.
and the whole goes back to its.
right, exactly. But I don't have the regular playmates that I used to, which were mostly fisting playmates.
Right.
So,
Well, who knows? You could build that up in 2019 too.
well, that's a possibility.
Your client book.
I'm not my client book. I'm not ruling things out. I'm just saying, more sex for
Yeah.
2019.
I hear you. Okay. Well, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, put that on that vision board.
Yeah.
I have my vision board going. It's very, very important. But let's talk about what's hot right now. There's so many things that I find hot right now, but there's a naked bareback it's all about bareback wrestling and hot houses hit the mat. And there's a director, Trenton Ducati. I guess he's directing this, but I thought this sounded really good. Hot House Entertainment has announced the release of its new feature, Hit the Mat, a movie that showcases men with boners in their singlets and plenty of raw sex on the mat. Hit the Mat will be available on DVD, on the Falcon Studios Group store.
It sounds hot
Exactly, and it's
and greasy.
somebody that the quote, "Who hasn't looked at a wrestler and wondered what the bulge is like under the singlet?" asked director Ducati. "This is a fantasy about amazing bodies and the possibilities of all natural sex between coaches, teammates, and anyone else on the mat." And I can just say I've always had this fantasy. I've acted it out a couple times. I have a couple singlets, and I'll lure some
Wrestling role play in this
I know. I'll
bitch.
put somebody in a wrestling. I mean, I kind of want to bring one home with me to San Francisco because the guy I've been referencing that I'm into.
You just want him to pin you down.
Well, he's got these monster
I
legs
can't move. I can't
and
move.
amazing calves.
Oh well, that's hot. With wrestling, that's hot.
and he has a huge dick, and so I think he would look good.
Yeah.
And I've always had a thing about
And
wrestling.
then you'd be that like boy in the audience that would be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see what's under that singlet."
Maybe one scenario would be like the new kid on the block joining the team.
Exactly, that
and
boy on the
he
sidelines.
doesn't like that, but he's going to teach me a lesson. And I'm just like, oh, I just joined the team, and I'm in high school.
Oh, I don't know anything. I'm hopeless.
You're in college.
Help me.
I'm an innocent young boy, and I don't know anything.
Hey, listen, it's my fucking movie, so I can do
Whatever,
It's your
bitch.
fantasy. You can play whatever role you want.
Exactly. It's my party, and yeah, and I will come as much as I want. But I mean,
Oh, we
kind of
know
sounds hot to me. Do you guys even like wrestling videos?
I don't actually. I don't. I mean, I like to
No,
watch
I
it,
don't
but I definitely wouldn't want to perform it. I don't like. I like more lustful sex than I like aggression. I mean, I like aggressive, like in
I like sexually
in
aggressive.
dominating sense, but not in wrestling or fighting or any of that sense. I mean, I like to watch it. It's hot, but I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I don't
Here's-
want to fight someone. I don't want to wrestle a guy that I like.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't really turn me on. It is fighting a little bit. I mean, it's a form of like aggression, getting it out that way, and I just don't. I wouldn't want to personally act it out, but it is definitely sexy to watch. So, That's how
I hear you. And to that point, I mean, I think that
you also need space in New York, and that
space.
It's not easy to. I mean, I'd have to move my whole living room around the ottoman and everything to have that wrestling ring
and you
area.
need a big tarp for all
just
that,
need a good
all
bed.
that lube.
You just need a good bed.
No, a good bed is not good because you fall right off of it and then
Well,
just
I'm not
get
saying
fucked
like,
up.
kill each other. I mean, we're not
But that's what wrestling is.
It is, but you know, within
Well, you need the play sheets and you need some good lube and like a Tempur-Pedic mattress that you kind of sink into.
Tempur-Pedic. Okay, Grandma.
I was thinking like a blow-up pool in the middle of the living room with some oil and grease.
I mean,
that could be fun. That could be
yeah. I
interesting.
mean, it's also acting it out too,
Yeah.
and not getting crazy with it, and obviously being, you know, let's not kill each other. This is just play. I think that's where I'm thinking of it. There's actual wrestlers that do this, and yeah, I don't want to like.
I don't like that at all. I had somebody hold me down one time, you know, just play wrestling, and
I like spanking, but the wrestling is
I
like.
like knocked him over, and that was it.
Oh Lord!
I was done. You know.
Were you the one that was pinned down, and then you like just?
He initially pinned me down,
and then you're just like,
And
get
then I
off
was
of me.
like, get the fuck off of me, you know. And he's like, I'm not getting off you. What are you going to do about it? Well,
And then you showed bitch who's boss.
See, I edge that kind of behavior on. So if somebody were to do what happened to you, and I was you, I'd be like, really? And then I would be like, okay.
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
and that, because I like a little bit of that, and there's Farronins.
I don't mind a little bit of that, but this was I didn't like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you either like it or you don't. I have a lot of
Yeah.
aggression and
Yeah.
energy sometimes, and if I like somebody.
But you like the playful aspect of it too, so
and
that idea turns you on.
I used to probably like it a little bit more, like overly physical. Now I like but then I
the
kind of
teasing of it, but the playfulness of
Teasing
the
of it
role
is
playing
fine.
part of it
Yeah.
too.
And maybe we'll talk to some of our friends, like the Master Joshuas of the world, or
Yeah.
I will, to see, because I would also want to, you know, it'd be cool to have like a seminar on this in singlets
Yeah.
and to see.
And
so
it's a
because
whole fetish thing, isn't it?
It is.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
you don't want to, you know, hurt anybody as long as you can find out the certain things. I think that could be kind of hot and fun, and maybe
Yeah.
I'll do that this year as a
Yeah.
and let you know, audience, how that goes. And
When's your next trip to San Francisco?
on a second things that I find hot right now, I mean, Jennifer Lopez in second act, of course, amazing, loving it. But people that know me know that I don't become infatuated with Hollywood actors very much. Like, there's very few. I've just never been. You know, a lot of my friends tell me, "Oh my gosh, I'm this person, that person." But I can't say his name. Milo Ventimiglia, her co-star in second act, is very hot to me. I mean,
He's a hot man. Yeah.
yeah, he's in that show. It's like a show on TV. I forget what it is, but people that are listening to this know who I'm talking about, and it's a very popular show. Stephen Gabriel loves the show. He posted on it. But anyways,
This Is Us.
This Is Us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Don't know the show, but haven't seen the show, but I know one of 5 people that haven't.
Yeah, right. I don't want you to either, but I think he's pretty hot. Do you guys think he's hot?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And he seems cool, too.
They usually don't co-star Jennifer with anybody that's not, but
I also am like kind of...
She won't permit it.
yeah.
I kind of think that Austin Wolf these days is hot. I mean, he's been hot all along. And years ago, I hired him as a birthday present to me, and it was very hot.
Nothing like a gift to yourself.
I know. I forgot what age I was turning, but it was when Rent Boy was still around.
Right.
And we could probably say that now since
Yeah.
it's not around and no one's going to get in trouble.
There are other ones out there still. But
Yeah, and I don't. He's not in those. I don't think. Why? Because now he is.
No, he does a lot of home videos
He
now
does
that
home
are super
videos
hot.
with-
So those are, I like those because
And
they're
the reason-
not staged and they're not, I mean, at least they don't look it, and they're not airbrushed over. It's like real home videos, which
And
is
he's
hot.
kind of cool because I think he still has this long-standing boyfriend, and they clearly have their thing, which is awesome. But he always will post a video, and I haven't joined his OnlyFans, but I'll see the little clip that he promotes, and it's like in a stairwell fucking this little Latin twink that I met down the street, or
it's hot
on the airplane,
at
the gym,
Yeah.
and it's some guy you would like
airplane.
this, Jeremy. It was fucking a young twink that he had in like stockings, almost like
pantyhose. Yeah, I saw it.
And fishnets, and there are always these like little boy types, and
I saw the one at the gym too. That one was hot in the shower at the gym, just like he was cruising him, and they just fucked quickly, like at the gym shower.
He sort of just kind of has grabbed this whole thing by the balls, and it's like, yeah,
That's
I'm doing
great, though.
and it's like I kind of like.
he's
So he
doing
like
his own
conducted
thing.
his own, which
He's
is
doing
hot.
his own thing. He's taken the internet to himself and figured a way to make it work for him.
Kudos
And
to
that's
you,
good.
Austin Wolf. Please be on the show soon. We'd love you to have you. But
You'd love to have him again.
I'm too old now. I mean, I think I've seen the current crop of
Boys,
and I will use the word boys, but I would be happy for him to be a guest on the show and continue to watch his videos. But Carpenter, recently we were out, and boy, some like extremely hot, and I say extremely hot because I was with my out-of-town friend, he was lusting after the boy that came on to you, and you had a whole thing. Tell us about him.
Oh, I never kiss and tell.
Well, tell us a little bit.
bitch, please.
Bitch, bye.
So I met you two out at a bar, and we had a couple of drinks, and I just said, I'm gonna do a lap and just see.
That's always what he
Like
says.
10 laps, but yeah.
And well, I mean, I wound up doing half a lap because I went by this guy and he looked at me and he went, "Ooh, hot daddy," and he grabbed my arm and he pulled me down, sitting next to him. Somebody was going down on him.
At the same time, I love it. A multitasker.
And then
He knows what he wanted.
He leans over
In
and
the
And
middle.
multitasking.
Yeah. And he leans over and sticks his tongue down my throat, and then it was like, oh, chewing my nipple, and then he was making all kinds of hot noises. So, because I'm working on it, I'm working his
Squealing like a pig.
yeah, I'm working his nipples. This other guy's working his dick, and then we
Bitch
switched.
was
and then
busy.
I was working his dick, and this other guy was working his nipples, and then back and forth. He kept
Teamwork.
pulling me up for air and sticking his tongue down my throat. And he was a really good kisser too.
Wow.
So-
Wow. And I know he told us all about it, and our other friend who was visiting was all about, he says, oh my God, the guy's so
Well, yeah, he
hot.
saw him walk by, and he looked at him. I said, "That's him." And he went, "What?"
That's too funny.
And so I said, well, did you get his number?
No, I
And-
mean, it's kind of hard when they're going, It's like, here, let me give you my number.
Let me write it down on a post-it.
I would write it on my dick, okay? I mean, and not wash that dick. When all else fails.
Well, his dick was well washed, put it that way.
Okay, wow, that is pretty hot.
So.
Jeremy, do you have any hot stories?
Not as of late, actually. Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Working too
Thanks,
much,
bitch.
girl.
I know.
But let's talk about right now. So hot gay sex topics. We're just going to go through a couple of them. Grindr cannot seem to keep themselves out of the gay press or just the press in general. We've talked so much about the head of it. I won't go through it all because you all know people. We've reported on it. But recently, an Australian Grindr user headed to prison following a botched hookup. So essentially, this guy, 25-year-old Jason Hassel, lured an older man he met via the gay dating app using the alias Alex. Hassel sent a series of sexually explicit messages over a 2-week period to his victim before offering to meet him at a beach called Bass Point, about 70 miles south of Sydney. Hassel never showed up to their first scheduled meeting, but convinced the victim to meet up again 2 days later. This time, Hassel came prepared. An accomplice initially greeted the victim. Hassel arrived and declared himself a police officer, then, which has to probably have amazing ramifications to when you take on a police force or whatever. He then forced the victim to withdraw the equivalent of $1,400 of US from an ATM and to agree to weekly payments in order to keep the incident quiet. Hassel threatened to expose the men in public by leaking their chat message and pictures. He also threatened him with violence. Well, real police came on board and revealed did not reveal the identity of the victim, but they did, however, charge Jason Hassel with kidnapping, demanding money with menace, and impersonating a police officer.
Good. Wow.
Courts dismissed the kidnapping charge as part of a plea deal. Hassel received 20 months in prison for his crime.
That's not enough.
It's so stupid.
Had that been a white woman that he had done that to?
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think of
Had that been a white woman that he had done that to?
Yeah.
It would have been much longer.
He would have been locked up for 10 years.
for life.
Do you think that, because Jeremy and I were sort of alluding, because like Grindr has been in, and you and I, Carpenter, have talked so much about the relatively newness of apps and meeting people and Uber and so forth. Somebody being dragged down the street recently in an Uber because the driver was Russian and didn't like the two men in the back kissing. I mean, these are all things that are occurring because of these newness of apps. I mean, first of all, I would say, and I'm not shaming the victim people, but I would say never go to a beach, a remote, like a beach at night. Like I would never ever do that.
Okay, but
I said I'm trying not to.
On the other guy's defense, I mean, he's meeting somebody in a public place.
Yeah.
Because he's unsure.
I just think it's a little bit. I mean, at night at a beach is sketchy. I mean, that's sketchy.
I mean, I don't know the beach
and remote.
I don't know
we know
the
it's
beach.
nice.
It sounds
remote.
We don't know. It sounds remote, but we don't know how remote it is.
I'm going to go out on a limb and think that it wasn't like a crowded, beach. In the middle of the day.
I think it's important if you do use the apps, and there are so many people that frequent them, and I have been one of them myself. But it's also about making sure that your safety is top priority.
Absolutely.
So I think
over
it's
the
about
sexual experience.
Yes, over that any day. It's so much more important. So I think,
and we get it. We all want to get laid,
and we're all so horny. But it's still about
how many times do we go to somebody's house for sex? That we've met on an app. We don't know them.
Yeah.
And you're just going into their house, into their home.
That's why I try to host most of the time, because I want myself to be comfortable, and I don't want to jeopardize my safety for somebody sketchy coming over. So if somebody sketchy does come over, I do end up having to force them out. It's not always easy, but I mean, that's what it is. True. I'd rather that than go to someone's house, be extremely uncomfortable, and not be able to, or not be able to escape or leave.
Even if somebody comes over and they're sketchy and you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah,
the best thing to do, I mean, because we're all going to do it, right? We're all going to hook up, is tell a friend what you're doing. We all have friends who are sisters, what have you, that, good friends. They know us. They know what we do. They know, you can tell them anything. Tell them this. Yeah. Tell them, hey, I'm hooking up with this guy at, at such and such a neighborhood on such and such a street. I'll text you back in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Right.
So tell them where you're going.
Yeah. Especially if you
and
feel
then
like
follow back up with them, because
especially if you feel like it's a situation. Yeah. I think if you're skeptical about it,
right?
I mean,
if you don't want to go to that level, just do Find My Friends.
Yeah.
With on your phone.
Yeah.
With a couple of people, so that hey,
I like that one.
I haven't seen where's Bob? I haven't seen Bob.
Yeah.
And then
you do that by turning on the location, correct?
Right.
So you are able to track where your friends are,
and keep in mind
which are the people that you care about. So I mean, you wouldn't mind them knowing where you are.
I like that one.
You can turn it on. You can turn it on for a certain amount of time for for certain friends, or until you turn it back off.
Okay.
As long as the hookup takes. Yeah.
As long as the hookup takes, and then right.
Right. And again, I'm definitely not saying anything against this victim, and he was a victim against this.
Totally.
Absolutely.
One of the other things, though, that the story said was that this was the first time he reached out to this guy, or the guy reached out to him. The guy went to, I guess, the beach, and the guy didn't show up. So that's a red flag already.
Yeah.
So I would just say, I know we're all horny, but use some common sense if some guy.
It's hard to use common sense when your dick is doing
it is. It really is.
If some guy said he was going to meet you at some remote beach, I'm just going to say it like that,
Yeah.
at night, and doesn't show up, and you went out there and then reaches out to you a second time.
I think it's
and then you
hard.
go again, and then I think I'm just going to say it, we just got to wake the fuck up.
I just think you have to go with your gut instinct, but I would also
It's
say
not
when
hard.
you're horny,
No,
your
your
gut
dick's
instinct would say, I want to get fucked or I want to fuck.
Yeah.
So
I'm always like in a detective novel here, and I think everyone's sinister. And I would not go to a remote beach. I just wouldn't. And I wouldn't, if somebody stood me up, I wouldn't go back again to that
Yeah.
same beach.
I don't know. It depends. I might do it.
I'm telling people to wake the fuck up because it's not worth it.
But you're looking at this in hindsight as well,
Mm-hmm.
and you're also looking at a third person. So if it's you, there are things you're not going to do. But
Yeah.
if you're horny and this guy's hot,
there are things you're going to do.
you're going to want to meet him.
I wouldn't. I'm speaking for myself. I know what I would do, but I think it's horrible, and I'm glad the guy's going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's going to jail. I think he should be going for a lot more time.
I think you're right.
Personally,
I think that you brought up a really good point about if it was a white woman, it would be longer than this sentence. So
if it was a white woman and a white man, he would be going to jail for X number of years. If it was a white woman and a black man, he'd be going for longer.
Even longer.
Yeah. Let's not mince our words here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly.
But that's another topic.
We have to get to our guest here, and we could go on and on, but
Yes, we can.
But more to come this year. We're super excited about our second year anniversary. I want to bring in our producer friend that's helped us so much this past year.
Who hides behind the scenes all the time.
Who's
filming us as we speak.
right, exactly.
He also works the computer when we do the live shows and takes questions from Twitter and from Facebook and what have you. And
let's bring him up right now. You're all happy 2019. So if you notice where Steve Carpenter was, he's just filming this for our YouTube channel. But we're here with our producer who's really helped us out for Talk About Gay Sex for so long. Talking to the camera, David, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. Talk right into that camera like it's a big fucking
big
dick.
Camera.
Yeah.
There we
David,
go.
you've seen a lot with the show with us,
Yes.
and you've heard a lot of our banter back and forth. I just want to know one of the things that you're leaving behind in 2018, and I encourage everybody to do that. Create your vision board, and one would argue it's just another year, but use it for what it is. Use it as a time to say goodbye and
progress.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I want to say goodbye to.
Okay,
for
we only have a few minutes.
2018. So yeah, a lot of negativity and people that have been around me that have been very negative. So I need to push them away and keep that distance from them. Going forward, 2019, obviously a lot more sex. Definitely more sex and public sex.
It must be something about this seat over here because Carpenter said the same thing.
Yeah, public sex. I actually experienced something a week ago, maybe 2 weeks, which I haven't had in a while, and it was quite exhilarating. So I'm looking forward to more of that.
Well, you cannot just leave us
yeah.
that.
So I was like, I don't
won't
know.
Don't worry about it.
Well, it doesn't matter if he knows or not. No names involved. But we were
in public, so
we were
bitch.
we were walking down the street. Ended up walking him to the train station. We go in through the tunnel, and he grabbed me. I grabbed him, and my pants came down, and he went at it. He went at it. So yeah.
He genuflected.
He definitely did.
And spoke into the mic. Wow.
Yeah.
Scared to go. I've always been curious about some of those videos. Are there cameras all down there? And if there are,
that I don't know. I feel like there are, but it really doesn't matter because they don't come out and say, "Oh, you can't do this here." So even porn that I've seen it filmed while you're waiting for the train.
Yeah.
Right where, and maybe at 3 a.m. where there's no one around, but I think there's cameras there, but for overall safety purposes. Yeah. But no one's gonna come out and say "Oh, stop sucking that dick." Yeah,
right. They're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a mirror. I saw that. I didn't see cameras, but that's fine. I mean,
good for you. Wow.
Yeah.
But even if there was, I think it would make it even hotter.
Probably.
I know that you were supposed to. Just calling it out. You were supposed to go on a date tonight, but when you heard you were filming tonight, you came here. Is this that person?
No, okay, this is someone completely different.
Okay, so that was that. That was sex.
Yeah,
and this person, are you interested in still dating?
Yes. I mean, we've been seeing each other quite often, and the date tonight was someone that I don't see very often, but
still
you
interested.
are busy. All right.
Trying to get some more dates going, different people. So
we love it. Well, David, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
This last year, helping so much on the show and our
Cheers.
live shows.
Glad
and
to be here.
Yep. And
Cheers.
I want to see more of you this year. We'll have you back on if you don't mind switching with Carpenter real quick
Not
to
at
bring
all.
him back in the show.
Wow.
I can't sex, including David, our producer, and everybody else that supports the show, including our members on Patreon. And you too can become a Patreon member. Happy fucking 2019.
Happy fucking 2019. And suck dick, get fucked, show your ass, kiss in public. See, we're on set.
Get fisted. And do it all with respect and love. And in the meantime, y'all, continue having
Hot gay
sex.
sex.